I love people as I meet them one by one. But as soon as they begin to group, as soon as they begin to clot, they begin to change, they sacrifice the beauty of the individual for the sake of the group.
When you were out there, did you contact anyone? Did you let the police, anyone know about this place?
What?
You wouldn't have believed me.
Tabitha, you don't know that.
Bro, what are you talking about, man?
Some people are really fucking stupid.
You're goddamn right.
Hello everyone and welcome. Welcome to Geek Anime channel. I'm your detective host Igor. We are halfway through season 3, 5 episodes out, 5 episodes still gonna be released. And if you're wondering, if you're new at this channel and you're thinking to yourself, what are we gonna do today? Why this video is so long? It's because this is really the deepest of the dives. We're gonna be doing some recap of what happened in episode 5. We're gonna be explaining some dramatic moments, some motivations, and of course we're gonna be talking about all of the clues, all of the interesting information pieces, all of the crumbs that the creators are leaving for us, because this is the reason why you usually come to watch my videos. So before we begin, as usual, I want to thank everyone who supports me on Patreon. Your donations is what make this channel possible, and thank you so much to a new member, Max Bloom, joined as a motivator. Thank you so much, and now let's dive in. So we pick up basically at the same point where the last episode was finished. We can see that Boyd and Ellis are helping Randall. They're bringing him back to the colony house. This moment was a little bit weird for me. What the hell is that? Is that a bottle? Is that a candle? Maybe you have some kind of a clue. So as usual, I'm waiting for your commentaries under my video. And we can see here another interesting moment, like Tilly is here. She is as usual super worried, because good old Tilly is always there to be worried about everyone. But what's interesting for me is what is the doll behind her, like the mannequin behind her is like, what's in her mouth? Is that a joint? Is that a tampon? What the hell is that? Once again, I have no clue, but those kind of small details is what I notice, and when I notice, I share. Anyway, we're seeing here that Randall is experiencing some kind of a seizures. It's probably something from the pain that he's experiencing right now. It's not like Ethan was having seizures, or Elgin, or even Sarah. It's not like he's connecting to the other side, whatever the other side here in this place, but he's obviously not in control here. So yeah, like there's some kind of a conflict that's gonna be between him and Boyd. He's like blaming Boyd for leaving him behind. You did this, you fucking left me. Obviously that's not really what happened, because Boyd really didn't have any choice there. It's not like he could have saved Randall. Maybe if he would like use his car to drive back and maybe push away the monsters, but you know, like once again, what is the risk that you're taking here? And obviously nobody really likes Randall, so here you go, this is the situation, and probably in the next episode this conflict is gonna get bigger. Anyway, we are beginning the episode and we are seeing here that Jade, Kenny and Christy, they're coming back from their trip to the village, and they're actually discovering something new for them. Now I wanted to stop here in this moment, and I wanted to show you once again the number of the ambulance. It's 1069. It probably has nothing to do with what's happening in this town, but we all should definitely start focusing on all 4-digit numbers. They obviously very important. All of them were on the bottle tree, so 1069 wasn't on the bottle tree, but once again, maybe it has some kind of a connection, maybe not. I noticed, I share. So yeah, Tabitha is back, and Jade is really the greatest of all time. Like in this TV show, he's definitely my favorite character. He is basically an embodiment of our desire to actually get an answer as soon as he hears that Tabitha is back. And she went through the tree in the forest, and she like got to the lighthouse, and then she got karate kidded by some boy in white. So Jade is like, see you later, alligator, I'm running to get some answers. This is a proper reaction. Actually, this is how you're all supposed to behave. There is something really interesting happened finally in this place, and now you can get closer to the answers. And most of the people here in the village, in the Fromville, are like, yeah, you know, let's have ourselves some town meeting, let's discuss things, instead of actually trying to, you know, create some kind of a board and start adding everything there and try to understand what the hell is actually going on here in this place. This was actually an endearing moment for me. I don't think it's kind of a clue or something, it just was I'm really enjoying Henry in town. Like every scene with him was really felt like this is somebody who is very good at acting, who really knows how to portray all of the emotions. Like here when he's looking for a short to meet his child because he wants to look presentable when he sees Victor. I mean, how endearing is that moment? How you cannot feel anything in this moment, I have no idea. Anyway, it kind of felt to, once again, maybe I'm completely off here, but it kind of felt like Donna and him had a moment. I don't know, like there's a big age difference between them, obviously, but you know, it felt a little bit. Maybe Donna was just a bit nice. I'm just not really used to see her being very nice to somebody, so it's maybe kind of felt like she's flirting a little bit. I don't know. Anyway, they're going to the closet upstairs where we keep the good stuff. What happened to the communism and everybody shares everything? Why do you have the good stuff and not the good stuff? No. Anyway, we're talking about Jasper and we're seeing here Victor and Sarah. They're actually coming to the tunnels, but before that, they need to get some supplies. What are the supplies? We don't know, but it's something that's gonna help them not to get lost in the tunnel. So it's probably some rope, some kind of a drawings maybe. Maybe there is a map there. I don't know exactly, but you know, like we all want to see what's going on with Jasper. Jasper is probably the avatar for the main big bad, for the main entity that run in this place. This is what happens here. Like probably Jasper is just, it used to be a doll, but it was possessed by the main force. Like this is something that sounds logical to me. So obviously we need to get to Jasper as soon as possible, but we're not gonna do it because we have 5 more episodes left and probably 2 more seasons after that. So we're gonna do slowly as usual, and they're gonna go to the tunnels to talk to Jasper, probably somewhere towards the end of the season. Or if they're gonna go, they're not gonna be able to find him, as usual. Anyway, when they go in, everybody's like, ooh, Sarah, ooh, go away, Sarah, we don't like you here. So Sarah is like, yeah, I'm probably not really welcome here, so I'm gonna go out and gonna wait a little bit. And then Dana comes and she tells Victor that his daddy is actually upstairs and he's waiting. So Victor, as usual, you know, his reaction to everything, he's like, no, you want to get some answers about this place? No, fucking no. Anyway, he leaves and Sarah is like, are you kidding me? I was with you the whole night, we were talking about Jasper, and now you're just running off. You're not gonna explain to me anything, you're just gonna like phase me off here in this situation. Am I in your friend zone or something? And he's like, yeah, we'll talk about Jasper later. Oh, we need to know what's going on with Jasper. Anyway, like another conversation that kind of made me a little bit angry, and you're gonna see that some moments in this episode made me want to scream at my TV, made me want to like yell, get inside this town and start hitting people for being that much fucking stupid. This moment was like, especially when they were talking to Tabitha, you know, it was scary, I'm waking up in the hospital, I don't know if it's real or I'm still dreaming, blah 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 blah. Then Julie asks an amazing question, like, how do you go from a lighthouse in the woods to a hospital in Maine? It's a simple answer. I mean, Julie, how do you go from the tree next to the colony house to the cellar outside of the town? Something that saved you in season 1. There's a lot of questions like that, but it's not a right question. The right question is, tell us please your story from the beginning to the end and don't leave any detail. And we're gonna see in this episode, it looks like either Tabitha left some very important details in her story, or everybody in this town is completely stupid, like criminally stupid. You should be put in jail for being that much of a stupid if this is how you react to Tabitha's story. Anyway, she's like, I wish I could explain, blah 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 blah, and then Ethan kind of starts connecting some dots. There's something that's called faraway trees. Who gave us that name? It was Victor. Who gave him that name? Probably the boy in white, because he's the one who controls them. He's the one who knows where they're gonna take you from point A to point B. And also this is probably the same lighthouse that Miranda was talking about. And can you get to this lighthouse without getting inside of the tree? Of course you can. We have seen it already. Both Boyd and Sarah actually got to the lighthouse It wasn't with the help of the tree, but some weird force grabbed their tent during the night and took them to some place where they didn't even know where the hell is that. And after that, like, once again, Jade is literally my favorite character from this moment on. Like, I could watch this TV show just of him, you know, don't really need anybody else here already. His face during the conversation with Jim, this is basically my face in many moments in this TV show, when Jim is like, there is nothing there to see. Jade is like, yeah, nothing. You mean besides the magic tree that takes you from point A to the lighthouse where you can get karate kidded by the boy in white so you can actually find yourself outside of this fucking place? Yeah, nothing's there to see. Also, there were some slips of paper with numbers written on them, and like, it's not important. Really, it's not important. So Jim is basically, his whole view is everything is stupid in this place, everything is not connected, it's just something that it's made there to mess with your head. Just like the moral, just like the faraway trees, just like everything else. Like, as soon as you start to get some kind of a glimpse that you start to understand what's going on here, then there is a new clue, there's the new piece of evidence that basically tells you everything you thought until this moment is completely untrue, is a complete bullshit. It kind of feels that way also for us, for the viewers, because we have a lot of theories, like with the bottle tree and the years and the lighthouse, and now after this episode we can probably very confidently say that those are not really years. Anyway, like, we're moving forward, once again, just pardon my French, she's like cursing and he's like, fuck the town meeting. I agree with you, Jade, fuck this town meeting, it was completely useless, both for the story, both for us, the audience. It was a useless scene, and it really made me really angry about the scene. Anyway, like, we have another moment when I kinda understand what Boyd is saying, I kinda do, but still, once again, like, there is something out there. Kenny tells Boyd that there is something out there. We talked about it in our previous reviews. We talked about it many times. It was in episode 1, it was in a previous episode, when during the night they hear some kind of a thumping, some kind of a different sounds. It's not the monsters, it's something else. Maybe it's this huge giant spider we actually theorize about. Maybe this is the red monsters we see on the walls in the caves. Maybe this is something completely else, but this is definitely something worth checking out. Obviously it's worth checking out. Maybe now when you have an ambulance you can get a car there if it's possible through the forest, probably not, but you can think of some ideas how to check it out. Now, obviously Boyd has a lot on his plate right now, Tabitha is back, everybody's gonna be crazy, they're gonna wanna go home, blah 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 blah. This place is full of very stupid people, so he needs to keep this place calm. Yeah, but still, I really hope, I really hope that this is not just gonna be like, whatever, we're not gonna get back to this anymore until season 28 or something like this. We need to get back to this. This is important. The whole new village, the whole creepy dolls that are guarding this village, this new sound of this new creature, whatever it is, it's obviously very important to understand this place. So you need to start digging, please, because we are already shaking here. We want some answers. We don't want all of the answers, but we want something, please. Anyway, we move forward, like, yeah, bigger things to worry about, and then he's talking about the name of the episode, the light of day, this is how it's called, and he's talking about like the reason why they left Randall to be alive, to remind everyone during the day that there's like nothing good here, that you have to be scared. Now, they want to break Boyd, they want to break everybody in town, but it also kind of feels a little bit redundant. You have like a whole big graveyard next to the church that kind of reminds you every day that it's not a very good place during the night. So, and during the day, like, yeah, what really is scary is that the end of this episode, when you kind of realize that you're not really safe even during the day. Now, yeah, we can see that Marielle is talking about the moment we also discussed in the previous episode. This is why I want to linger a little bit longer on that, because she's saying like, Nikki was 1 minute she was fine, completely stabilized, and then the next minute she died. Now, we have this theory that this place needs to have just a certain amount of people, like just a certain number of people. It cannot get over this. So maybe because Acosta arrived, Nikki should have died, had to die, sorry, in this situation. Maybe not. Maybe this is just something just to be there in the script. They just wrote it because they had to write something. I kind of start think maybe they have some kind of moments here. But I hope it's gonna have some kind of a potential explanation. Yeah, so she's having a ligament damage. This is basically the tissue that connects the bones. So probably she's not gonna be able to walk for a while, but since she doesn't really need the surgery, it's not a very serious injury. So probably, you know, like season 1, so probably, you know, like 1-2 seasons and we're gonna see Christy jumping again, or she's gonna die anyway, which is also possible. And this moment was also very interesting for me from a dramatic point of view, when Boyd is like, look at his face when he understands that he isn't able to help. Not that he's not just going to help, him being there is actually hurts the process of Randall's recovery, because he is like a source of stress for Randall. So it's obviously very hurtful for Boyd. This is also something that's supposed to break him. He is the hero, he is there for everybody, he's the one who's bearing all of the responsibility, and understanding that he is the danger, he is something that hurts other people, is obviously very stressful for Boyd. Now, can I say something probably not many people noticed? I kinda really enjoyed Kenny during this episode, even though he was barely talking. Like every time he was on the background, he has this aura around him of somebody who's like been through so much shit that nothing else can bother him already. Like all these stupid arguments and people are screaming at each other, and somebody who's like Boyd cannot be a hero for a couple of minutes. All of those things barely even touch the hair on his head, Kenny's head. And I like this about this character. I like those kind of characters. And I'm excited to see what's gonna happen to him. I hope he's not gonna go to the dark side and actually use this to help himself and help other people in this place. So Henry here is going through Victor's room. He can see his little boy here in the room. He's seeing some toy soldiers, there's drawings of candies. Still, there is his little boy. I mean, he remembers Victor the last time he saw him when Victor was, what, 12? 13, now Victor is 52, 53, there's been like 40 years since that day when he last time saw his kid. So yeah, he's obviously trying to like to feel his child, and I have no idea what the hell is that. If any of you know what is this black thing, not clue, not even one, but there's like some kind of a tiny box here, maybe there's something interesting here. Anyway, when we move forward, we can see that finally, after so many episodes, we get Henry to actually mention Eloise. It was all about Victor Miranda, Victor Miranda, Victor Miranda. Like, what about your daughter? You barely even talked about her. So yeah, thank you so much talking about Eloise. Now, there's a lot of like talk already that we should stop thinking about Eloise. She has to be dead. Nobody talks about her. If she would be alive, Victor would speak about it. I don't believe it's true. We have to have something with Eloise, otherwise the creators are really dropping the ball here. I mean, atomically, catastrophically dropping the ball here, because why would you even bring her up? Just to show us how Victor cries? I mean, actor, the guy who plays Victor, delivered this scene 100%. I was crying with him, but it has to have some point. Him remembering that was Eloise, like Eloise even existed, gotta have to bring us somewhere closer to, you know, to the answers. Like, good script is something happened, and because of that something else happened, and because of that something else happened, and because of that something else happened. Bad script is something happened, then something happened, then something happened, and then something happened. And that's it, the end. So if Victor didn't remember anything about Eloise, and then he remembered about her, and then we understood that she was the one to draw all of those images, that she ran after her mom, and after that Victor was able to find his mom's body, but he never found Eloise's body. Why? Why you would even want to add this to the script? Just because you have fingers and you know how to write on the keyboard? Probably not. 99.999% it's still supposed to bring us somewhere regarding Eloise, and I hope I'm correct here, because if not, I have way less expectation and belief and trust in the creators. If it was just, you know, to add Eloise, that's it, you have Eloise, why wouldn't you want to have Eloise here? Yeah, so hope again, this theme of hope, we talked about it. Most of the characters that we know how they got into this town, they were driven by hope. Both the Matthews family, Steven's family, we have Kenny, we have Jade here, everybody who got in this place, they were actually driven by hope, Bacta also, and this theme of hope intertwined with pain, with suffering, also repeats itself many times. We heard this from Abby, whatever this Abby was in the end of season 2, so this place doesn't feed on your suffering, it feeds on your hope, so it kind of gives me some similarity vibes to The Last of Us, like Last of Us actually takes the theme of love, you know, something that usually portrayed very positively, very beautifully in every movie, TV show, whatever you want to see. It's like it's always a good thing, but you know, Last of Us also shows that for love we can sometimes do some horrible things. So here maybe it kind of intertwines between like hope is always good, it's always great, but you know, like when you have hope, this is also something that allows you to experience and endure so much pain that you would never endure if you wouldn't have any hope. So yeah, like a little bit hope, blah blah blah. So at this moment when he says this was the part I couldn't bear, and he's actually touching the rope, kind of felt a little bit suicidal for me. Maybe during one point he was understandable, you know, the guy lost everything, had no idea, probably was accused of murdering his own family and looked like a criminal by everybody surrounding him. So yeah, not a good situation to be in. And we can see here a very interesting drawing. Now usually we see the monsters being drawn by Victor with some black charcoal, and it's like some kind of like a spirit. And it looks like a, you know, like a black monster, whatever it is. Now here we're seeing something completely different. We're seeing here something that looks like a female figurine. It looks like a dress, but it's white and it's in the middle of a darkness. Is it Miranda or is it Eloise? It kind of gives me the vibe that it's one of them. Someone who is stuck in the darkness. And for Victor, it's obviously a good figure, a light figure, you know, like the white figure here. So this is something he drew as maybe his mom, maybe his sister, and maybe one of them is actually trapped in the darkness. My bet is obviously on Eloise because we have seen Miranda dead. We didn't, but Victor did. And yeah, in other drawings, we know the truck. This is the same truck that we're hiding inside in the beginning of season 2. Some monsters, this drawing we know already. This one is kind of new, but you know, like trees, some kind of a creepy monster, and obviously moon or sun there. And here we can see a tiny, maybe a cop car, I don't know what it is, but it looks like an old cop car, and we have like a Costa here. I don't know if it's connected or not, probably not. Anyway, I notice I share, and this drawing looks like a map. And it looks like a map of an island of some sort. I don't know exactly, maybe it's something else. Maybe it's the map of the caves that Victor actually wanted to take and to grab before they went to search for Jasper. Don't know. But when Henry is looking at the drawing of the monster, we can zoom in and see some kind of calculations. Now once again, bear with me, I have no clue. Maybe you have any idea what he's calculating. We talked about that maybe those numbers are actually the amount of steps that he's taking from point A to point B, to not to forget when he buried, where he buried some important things for him. But here, like you can see 280 minus 80, it's 200, plus 22, it's 222, minus 22, it's obviously 200, and minus 10, it's 190. What the hell is that? What is he counting? It doesn't sound and it doesn't look like he's counting steps. You don't count steps like plus 22, minus 22. What the hell is that? Minus why? Why would you detract here something from the main amount? I don't know. We have 92 here for some reason. We have obviously another some kind of a 3-digit numbers, and we have like the 12 and the 10. So is it areas? Is it the amount of steps? But it's probably, most likely, even the numbers that we've seen in the lighthouse are not years. We talked about it when I did my rewatch of season 1 and season 2. We were like, yeah, years, and at one point I was like, why are we always assuming those are years? It can be something else, and it kind of sounds logical already since we know the creators and how they want to fuck with our minds. It sounds logical that they will show us something that looks like dates, and then at some point we'll be like, ha, gotcha! It's not really dates, it's something completely else. Now just to remind you, in the beginning of season 2, like when they were staying in this truck, the drawing of which we just saw right now, there were like 2,800, 2,700, 2,600. 1700, 1600, 1500, 1400. Those are not years. Obviously, those are not years. This is something else. Now, here it sounds logical maybe that those are the amount of steps, even though it's kind of a stretch because who counts 1700 steps? You're gonna make a mistake if from point A to point B you need to count 1700 steps. Doesn't matter who you are, you're gonna make some mistakes. I'm not even talking about the 2800 and 2900 and 3000 something step. This is sound crazy, so it's probably not step, it probably has to be something else. I don't know what, but also like if you're once again connecting, it looks very much the same like in this map. Those calculation, I don't know what it is. Like this looks a little bit like he was counting his height, but it's probably once again not, because like I was growing for 20 centimeters and then the next day I lost 22 centimeters. Nobody grows like that. Anyway, I think I spent too much on this topic, so let's move forward. And we have the gathering of the stupid people. Like during this moment, I was face palming myself. Probably I still have some kind of a red spot here on my forehead, because everybody there was so fucking stupid. I couldn't even bear this moment. It was painful. Like in this moment, when Henry is talking about that he was taking Tabitha to a park and nobody lets him finish because they all like, oh, Tabitha is coming, let him finish. It's pretty important. He's about to tell you that those bottle trees that you want to get inside of them, they actually also exist on the outside, and the original tree, it was there in that park and they weren't able to actually get there. This is where he and his wife took some acid, and this is where she saw the first time this place. It's kind of freaking important detail to understand what the hell is going on. Why is nobody listening? Why nobody's listening? This is driving me insane. I wanted to go to this place and start punching people. Listen to this fucking guy. He knows what he's talking about. It's important. God! Now this one, I am completely suspicious of her already. She's like, yeah, everybody's at the meeting already. I'm going there. I don't want to be late. Another scene that maybe is there just to be there. Or it's once again, suddenly Clara has so much of a screen time for an extra. She wasn't an extra, she was more of a beat, but season 3 is her shining moment. And she was the last one to stay in the colony house, not counting Elgin obviously. And then when Julie, she enters the colony house and she goes on top and she remembers this moment from season 1 when Fatima told her like that if you climb high enough, a nightmare can actually look like a dream. And high enough kind of starts to make me think maybe about drugs, you know, like she's actually stealing some weed from Fatima. And you know, when you smoke, you get high, and if you're high enough, even a nightmare can look like a dream. And this is basically what Julie is doing here. After that, she's gonna say that when she smokes, this is the only time she actually makes those voices, those screams disappear. And this is already not the first time we're seeing drugs having some kind of effect on this place or on people in this place. Jade was completely out of it when he arrived to this town, and obviously, as I told you right now, Eloise taking some drugs with Henry and start hearing unquiet children and have visions about this place because she took some LSD. This is weird because, you know, drugs, what they do, they actually release some hormones in your body and they alter your brain functions, they alter your brain mechanics, especially acid. You know, it's being experimented right now as a medicine as far as I know. So maybe this whole place is, once again, it's not really mystical, it's not really magical, it's more of a scientifical, some kind of a mind experiment. I would hate it that all of them are just connected to some, you know, matrix machine and it's all a simulation, it's all an imagination, but still it can be an explanation. It is possible that this is the explanation and we should never like throw it in the bag just because we don't like it. So yeah, Elgin is about to kick the shit out of Julie and she's like, what the hell is going on? He's obviously not okay and she could use some company, yay. And we have another scene, another like a very impactful moment, both for Victor, both for Sarah. I really enjoyed their dynamic together. I hope it's not gonna be the end of it because they kinda, both of them are a little bit out of this world. This is actually the moment, the whole line that was made here by creators between Victor and his dad. I actually really enjoyed it. Instead of them just, you know, like going at it and like, dad, son, blah, 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 I missed you so much. it showed us a very valid psychological block for both of them. Like Henry, the last time he's seen his kid was 40 years ago. Victor, the last time he's seen his dad was 40 years ago. Obviously, they understand they're completely different people. They look differently. It's not even like you're not gonna be able to see your son. You're not gonna be able to see your father. You're gonna be able to see someone who's a granddad already, like not like a grandpa, and you're gonna see a very grown-up man who's probably having traumas from here to, you know, whatever. And I actually enjoyed Sarah here, you know, talking about like she would give anything, everything to just feel like a good person again. Like when she was killing everybody, she was actually truly thinking that she's helping, that this is the way to make everybody escape this place. She thought that she's actually doing some good, and now that she understands that it's not really good to actually kill many people and try to kill some kid, she really wants to get back to this place. There's obviously some redemption arc for Sarah in the works, and I'm here for it. I really want to see it because I'm a sucker for redemption arcs. Another like really interesting, endearing moment, and let's get back to Elgin and Julie. And as you can see, usually in my videos I try to break down to some different storylines, but this episode is completely chronologically because it's all intertwined already. Everybody's connected to anybody somehow, so I didn't want to like even split it. I just wanted to go and power through it. So Elgin remembers his grandma once again, and he's talking about her being very religious, and she would probably tell him that this is an angel. The kimono lady is an angel. There is a reason why angels say fear not. Even Gabriel was terrified. Now Gabriel is one of the archangels. He's obviously one of the most famous one, and he's known also as the messenger of God. Does it imply that the lady in kimono has some kind of a message for him? Probably. She was there to talk to him. She was there to tell him, help me, save me from the demon. No, I'm sorry. Anyway, like there is something going on here, and it's of course another biblical reference. We have a lot of them here. We have Father Guthrie with the book 74 and the number 47, you know, like backwards. We have a lot of like imagery of Ethan being somewhere like an Aaron and Abraham, you know, like the sacrifice, and he's standing with a stick. There's a lot of biblical references. I went through all of them during my rewatch. If you want to go and check it out, please feel free to do it. I'm not gonna go through them again because it's gonna take a lot of time and this video is already very long. Anyway, like we are talking about everything that happens with Julie. She has some voices in her head. She hears screams, but she not only hears them, she can actually feel them. So maybe this like a tear between those two worlds that we can see here, like those two dimensions, those two experiences, whatever you want to call them, but we know already that people can be here simultaneously in two different places. So there is something here. There's an upside down. There is the other side, whatever it is. Probably the connection between Julie and this other side is right now way stronger, and the veil is way weaker, if it makes sense what I'm saying here. So this is the only thing that makes quiet. We already talked about it. The drugs help her, and she's once again talking about the hope and suffer. Like best way to make us suffer is to give us hope. Once again, this theme repeats itself already 25,000 times. We know, we understand. Please give us some more clues to understand what the hell is this place doing with hope. Why does it need hope? This is what interesting for me already. And yeah, at this moment we kind of get like there was nothing in between. Like there is a beginning of the story when Tabitha started to talk, and there is the end of the story when the ambulance has stopped when it saw the tree. Good, we know the story, we have seen it. But after that, when everybody started to react to Tabitha's story, it felt like either they didn't listen or she didn't tell them anything about the boy in white, because nobody was asking about it. Nobody was asking like, so in order to get out of here, you need to get on top of the lighthouse and you need to have the boy in white there, and he needs to push you from the lighthouse so you will fall to your death, but you're not gonna die, you're actually gonna wake up in Maine. Nobody is talking about it. They're asking questions like, this one is late, by the way, she didn't hear the story at all, no detail, she didn't hear anything, and they are asking her questions like, did you contact anyone? Who? Ghostbusters? Sam and Dean Winchester? Who was she supposed to contact? And she's going, police. Are you freaking kidding me? Are you that stupid? Or are you that desperate? I know that Fatima is desperate. I know that she's pregnant and she kind of feels that she has her Rosemary baby growing inside of her. This is obviously not a human child. There's something really wrong about it. And she wants to get out of this place because she needs professional help. But still asking those kind of stupid... Did you contact the... Yeah, she did contact the police. Yeah. You know what? They didn't believe her. I have a challenge for you. If you're thinking right now that I'm exaggerating, go to the nearest police station and tell them that your family is being trapped in the place you're not gonna be able to find. In order to get to this place, you should just drive around until you see a big magical tree and some crows. And after that, you're gonna get to this town and you're gonna do some circles around the town, but during the night, monsters are gonna come and they're gonna rip you apart unless you have a talisman in your house. And let me know how many police officers will actually believe you and start looking for your family. Please. And those are grown-ups. Those are grown-up people. We saw them being not that stupid. We saw them eating with fork and knife and not killing themselves because they are freaking stupid and don't know how to actually where to put the fork in the mouth or in the eye. And they're asking those kind of questions. And when Tabitha is saying to them they wouldn't believe me, don't I hear from all of the people like, Tabitha, you don't know that. Really, you don't know that. Like, they would believe you. Obviously, they would. Like, why would you even need Henry here to say to them, like, I thought she was out of her mind. And even Acosta is like, we thought she was hysterical. Obviously. What else would you think in this situation? I don't care how much of a believer you are. You can believe in ghosts and everything, like you can believe in everything that is supernatural. If somebody comes to you right now, somebody you don't know, and tells you this kind of a story, you're gonna think this person is crazy and you're gonna put them in the asylum. That's it. That's the only situation. This is the only thing that's gonna happen if Tabitha would actually listen to those people. Anyway, like, but you believed her, you should believe it, blah, blah, blah. Different circumstances. Obviously, he believed her. He had his wife who took some drugs and started hearing some uncool children. And then this one, she didn't even hear the story, not for one moment. She came to the end, don't know any detail, and she's like, you blew it. You had an opportunity that all of us could die for, and you didn't do anything. Once again, is it something that the creators just missed? Or she was like, you know, listening to whatever happened in this place. She was late. Shut the fuck up. How would you even know? You don't know the story. You don't know what the opportunity that Tabitha had. I mean, she did come back pretty much empty-handed, but probably not, because we're still talking about some kind of a TV show. There's gonna be a story here, and as I told you, good story is that something happens, then because of that something else happens. So because of Tabitha got out, something else supposed to happen. It's gotta happen, we just have to wait and see. But this one is, I'm very suspicious of her. I think she's in the mall or something like this. She's gonna be the bad one, I'm telling you this. Anyway, like, once again, like talking about the stroll in the park, like Dell is saying, like, I don't know what I would done, but I would definitely wouldn't go to the park. And Henry is like basically talking to himself. He's like, it's not what it was. We didn't just went to the park to see some birds. Let the man talk. Do you want to get out of this place, or do you want to be stupid? How stupid can you be? How many times I'm gonna say stupid during this review because they made me so angry? I just keep saying stupid because I don't want to use some very harsh words. Anyway, like, once again we have the Will Smith moment here. Obviously Ellis here is like, when he listens to Tabitha, to Fatima, sorry, he's like, oh man, what the hell are you talking about, babe? You're saying some really stupid shit. But you know, like, Will Smith, when his wife tell him to do something, he has to do it, even if everybody else is gonna hate him after that. Anyway, like, in the real world where people can help, you've been there and you haven't talked to them. What if somebody would believe you? Who? Once again, who? The crazy people in the asylum where they would put her if she would have told this story? Who? So yeah, and Tabitha gets visibly angry, and I can understand her, and she's like, yeah, probably you would all be like, yeah, the Ghostbusters and the army and the president is here with me already. They're all looking for Fromville, the place nobody else can find, but you know, they all left it because I told them so, yeah. This moment made me so angry. This whole scene made me so freaking angry. I'm gonna be angry about it for a couple of days already. Anyway, a little bit of a pun when Boyd is talking about that he's a concrete evidence. He has a concrete evidence, Stigadish, that Deld is gonna have a very bad morning in this episode, but he's like, this is not wishing anymore, this is not hope anymore. We know already that you can get outside. There is a way, we should just try to find it. And they all like, where's the tree? Tabitha went through the tree and got home, right? This is what Bacta asks here. Now, Bacta is not a stupid person. Dale is a stupid person. Bacta is not a stupid person. So I have to ask her, was she listening with her ass? Did she try to use her ears during this conversation? They should have listened to this story. Like the way this episode presents this scene to us is they all listened to the story that Tabitha told. And she talked about going to the lighthouse. And in the lighthouse, something happened. We don't know. Nobody talks about it. This is the Eloise of this episode. You know, the boy in white kicking the shit out of her. So she flew away like Geronimo and then got landed in the Maine. Camden, Maine. Nobody talks about it. It's not a very important information here, but still, how after all of this story you come to the conclusion of Tabitha went through the tree and got home? Yeah, you go to the tree and you go home. What is going on here? Will Smith just shut up and like Boyd has to talk to them and tell them like, I went through the faraway tree and sometimes you don't get outside and you don't go home. Sometimes you end up in the well, in the cellar with some freaking Martin and his worms and I barely survived this. And they need Kenny, the guy who lost his mom and his dad and he couldn't even give a fuck about anything anymore. He's like, haven't you listened? She said it was the lighthouse. Do you know what is a lighthouse? Do you know how to listen? You're stupid as people. Whew, I wanna go home. Go home. Baby, bye, bye, bye. And at this moment, literally, when Jade said like, why didn't you go to the meeting? When Ethan is asking him, like before Jade answered, I was like screaming to the screen because they're all fucking stupid. And then Jade is like, yeah, any meeting with more than 3 people is basically pointless. Thank you so much. I love this character more and more and more because this meeting was completely pointless. And this is the half of the season already. And we all were expecting this meeting and it kind of feels already that creators are trolling us. They were like, you're talking about tarot cards, we're gonna show you some tarot cards and not gonna talk about it again, ever again. You were all thinking about some time travel theories, it's all years, right? Let's talk about this time travel theory again, because the year there is 2659. Yeah, you were all talking about the town meeting, why they don't just gather, everybody don't just gather and talk about everything. So we're gonna show you how it's actually gonna look. Those kind of meetings, how pointless they are. It kinda even feels to me during this season that the creators are trolling us or they just talking to us at this moment. So when Tabitha comes back, she's like, let's go to the faraway tree. Jade is like, yeah, let's go. Finally, somebody is ready to do something in this stupid place. I love this moment, like, because I was so angry at everybody in this meeting when Jim is like, you think I give a shit about what you owe to these fucking people in the diner? I felt this so much, like, fuck all of those people. I hope they die. I really hope all of them die. I want Jay to be saved. I want some of the Matthews family to be saved. I want Victor obviously to be saved and Boyd. That's it. Everybody else can, in my opinion, can just all go jump from the lighthouse. Jump. In my opinion, everybody else can just go to the lighthouse, get on top of it and jump. Jump. This is what Tabitha did. This is what you want to do. This is how you get home. Jump and kill yourself, please, so we'll stop spending some very important screen time on you. Anyway, like there is a conversation, a good conversation that I really enjoy between father and son. It was not, you know, like you're a good boy conversation. It was something that needed to be said here by Boyd to Alice, and completely a gem of the conversation. Like you and Fatima are lightning matches. I know that Fatima is there like really desperate and she's having a bad time, but guess what? Everybody else is also having a pretty much bad time. So at this moment also, like when Alice tells him like instead of sitting around and doing nothing, maybe we should start doing something, like Boyd's reaction, I mean this actor, Harold Perrineau, gives him something already. The range, the beauty of acting that he shows us in this series is astonishing, is magnificent. Yeah, I can even use this word. I mean, it's like the top of the notch. So good. I mean, like, I don't have any words already to describe it, but so much enjoy this moment when he was like, is it really what I'm doing here? Is this what I'm doing here? I'm sitting here, right? Not doing anything, like, not me going to the, you know, to some creepy cellar, fighting some music boxes, you know, like saving everybody time after time, time after time, time after time, so we will all, you know, like start not to trust me here at this moment. Yeah, thank you so much, my son. And then, like, who's your pick? Who are you gonna pick? Who are you gonna kill? Who are you gonna risk? And at this moment, like, Alice is angry, but I hope he understands that in this conversation his father is correct. His father is right. And we finally get into some interesting moments here because we have some new location. A new location is always exciting. So Elgin here takes Julie to some cellar. This is where they keep all of the freaky stuff, all of the weird stuff they then don't have any explanation for. So we have some kind of a merry-go-round here. Obviously it's not, but you know, we have the symbol many times. We had it in caves, we have the merry-go-round, we have the drawings in Jade's journal. Now we have this symbol. Also resembles the sound, the circle, the merry-go-round, whatever it is. It's obviously very important. We have also the American football helmet. Now, if you remember, we analyzed the cheerleader. She has the Jamestown High School uniform from 1979 or something, from 1970. You can actually see I found their school book. This is their school book. We can see this is the same uniform. So obviously my first thought was that maybe this is the helmet of somebody who used to play in this school. So you can check this. This is different. So it's not exactly connected. Maybe the creators just used the uniform as a reference to Jasper. You know, Jay, Jasper, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, we can see here also some hats. Now we have this kind of hat. We have the one here that looks more like something that the milkman would wear. This one looks a lot like, I don't know, a prom dress, a cheap one, but still a prom dress. There are some clothes inside, and you can see that, I'm sorry, not the milkman. This guy has a very similar hat. He's called usually the old man. Look at this head, it's kind of golden here, but also this is during the night. It's not exactly the same, but it's very similar. Now this is also the businessman, okay, the one that killed Frank. Also kind of looks like that hat, so it's kind of similar to what the monsters are wearing. I don't know if there's a connection, but it kind of feels it is. And there's also talking about it. This is the 80s vintage, and we talked about the 80s, you know, 80s, this is where Victor had this massacre. We have a lot of the songs are from the 80s or the 70s here in this place in the music boxes, so the 80s theme repeating itself. Now this is also the Polaroid. So they're finding it actually, it's obviously somehow connected to Christopher because, you know, the image of him and Victor was also taken on the Polaroid. So how is it still working? I actually needed to Google it and ChatGPT it because basically, you know, like the Polaroid camera, you need to put like some kind of a film inside of it. It's basically like a pack, a film pack, and it's also a battery. So you basically have 10 images there, 10 photographs. Doesn't really matter if it's like being charged or not being charged. It's not dying there. You have your 10 images, and with every film pack you also have enough battery. And if you store this in a dry and you know, cold place, most likely this battery will have a very, very long time. So this is how it's still working. So yeah, she's taking the picture, and it's probably the Polaroid Spirit 600, a model of also from the 80s. I think it's 81, 82, 83, something like this. This is the 80s. Once again, we have a lot of this theme repeating itself, so the 80s, the 80s, the 80s, 80s are important somehow. Here is the image of Elgin. I was expecting to see her some kind of a ghost. It kind of feels maybe I've seen already in some spoilers or something like this. Maybe it was there, but you know, this is like one of the most common horror tropes. Like if there's a ghost and somebody takes a picture and suddenly you see the ghost in the pictures. I mean, come on, can you find something more original, please? But maybe this is what's gonna happen here. Anyway, they're like happy, dancing, and they like, you know, there's a moment there. They went high enough so the nightmare started to look like a dream. But also there is a bicycle and there are some bowling pins. As soon as I see some bowling pins, I remind myself about the beginning of season 2, when, you know, Tabitha with Victor, they were walking through the caves, and then Kui children were actually playing their weird version of bowling. Also the bicycle also was in the caves, as far as I remember. So yeah, once again, maybe there's some connection, but I enjoy so much when we find some new location, and I think it's very good. And I hope that one day they're actually gonna release, hopefully they're gonna release some 4K images, so I'll be able to analyze them more thoroughly. So yeah, Costa comes here with an advice, and she obviously picked up a very bad sign because Boyd is pretty angry. She tells him like, you need to find something to let your people do so they will be focused on something. Yeah, like what? Building a radio tower on the colony house? Been there, done that. So it's not a bad advice, but it's not a good advice for this place. So Boyd is completely losing his temper. He's basically like telling her to go and fuck herself, and he's the one who will decide what to do with his goddamn town. But then we can see his reaction. He's like, oh fuck God. I mean, he feels like he didn't have to react that way. He was just blowing some steam. He was angry after the meeting in the diner. He was angry after the conversation with his son, who should have had his back, but was just, you know, throwing some gasoline into the fire. So yeah, and this is what we're seeing being broken. Like, this is what the monsters want to happen to Boyd. He gets visibly more and more angry. He is losing his temper, and he is actually, you know, being more and more broken by this place. So yeah, Fatima is finally, you know, like doing some yummy, 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 I got love in my tummy, I got love in my tummy. And suddenly Alice enters and she's like, you want some? It's kind of good, but it's too much. I would definitely share with you. And then she says like, something's not right with the baby.
You don't say!
This moment was very interesting for me, and I actually talked about it already when we analyzed the preview, when Ethan comes to Henry and he's looking at the model sign and he's like, well, there is a model sign, there is a pool, there is even a car in the pool, but where the hell is the model? I don't know about you, but it gives me vibes, you know, if you remember the old game Age of Empires 2, there was this option where you could build your own map, and you then can delete some parts of your map. Let's say you put a farm and you put some crops next to the farm, and then, you know, like people go from the crops and they bring food from the crops to the farm, from the crops to the farm. But then let's say you delete the farm, so you have the crops there, but they're just basically in the middle of nowhere and you cannot do anything with them. It kind of feels a little bit like here, like this here. It feels like there was a model, it had to be here somehow, obviously, but something, some force or something removed it. You know, like also when Miranda was talking about this place, she said like this place that is everywhere, but it's also simultaneously nowhere. You can get to it from any point, and when you get to it, there's no like magical, you know, a gate when you go in and you're suddenly in a different place, like in Stranger Things or something like this. You just drive, and everything around you pretty much stays the same, but suddenly you're in FROMMGM. So maybe FROMMGM kinda duplicates the outside, but what I mean by kinda, it doesn't really take everything. There is this model somewhere outside, but you know, they duplicated only the sign and the pool. Or once again, the entity, the whatever, the company, the I don't know who, what, whatever, that created this place really just puts your things to mess with everybody's head. Like, it makes you think that there is some kind of a connection, like it makes you think that there is some kind of a sense, some kind of a logic behind wires that don't really connect to anything, behind phone that doesn't connect to anything but somehow rings, for model that not even exists, just the sign. Like, there is some kind of an explanation, but there is not. And you looking for that explanation, drive yourself crazy. This is actually what this place does to you, because every time you get those kind of glimpses of hope, of clues, you build up your hopes that you're gonna get an answer, and then there is no answer because, like, you cannot get there because there is none. Maybe this is actually something that happens here. Anyway, we're moving forward, like, where is the motel? Yeah, they're like, once again, they focused on the sign here. What really bothers me, where is the Star Magic sign? There was a Star Magic motel sign there when Victor was a kid. Where did it go? Who took it off? Obviously not Victor, he was pretty short that time. And even now, it's pretty much of a tall sign. Look at that, look at the difference of height. Look how like small Victor and, Henry and Ethan look here. You cannot get up, you can't really go up there and take this sign off. So who took it and why? Yeah, so there's like another very endearing moment for me, like when they talk to Ethan and Ethan says to him like that Victor is his best friend. Henry is obviously like very happy to hear that. First of all, he understands that somewhere there is still a little kid that he remembers, because his best friend is actually not a little kid. Also, he kind of feels good that, you know, Victor obviously suffered through a lot here. But it's also good to hear that he was able to make some friends and he was not completely alone all of the time until this moment. So also very endearing moment. And obviously here, I don't know about you, but I cried a little bit because I don't know how this actor does it, but the guy who plays Victor, every time he's somehow able to master this inner child, this small tiny Victor that is still inside his body, and he portrays this so compellingly that I like when he says, I didn't know how to get home, I felt this pain of a little kid, of a poor little child who lost everything and who doesn't even know how to get back home. Like, what do you want to do in this situation? You lose your sister, you lose your mom, you lose everybody, you're alone in a very scary place. Like, all you want to do is go home. All you want to do is be with somebody who is close to you. I mean, so much pain in his voice here in this moment. Once again, hats off. Like, every dramatic moment, every time I'm like shedding some tear here in this TV show, it's because of Victor. So once again, Jade and Victor are like my two favorites. Like, they are the goats of this show for me. So Bactus here is actually seeing that Boyd is entering the bus. He's checking this diary that Randall was drawing inside, or he was writing something inside. I hope it's actually the patterns of the monsters, like he talked about in previous episodes, like some of them are in the pool, some of them are there, you know, like winging their legs, whatever. Hopefully there is information here that Boyd will be able to use in order to capture one of the monsters. If he still wants to do it, because, you know, we like this show, but this show sometimes can piss us off with, you know, like presenting some storylines and then just, yeah, forget about it. Forget about it. Who wants even to capture those monsters? Let's forget it. Let's do something completely else. Here is an interesting moment. All of them are interesting, but this is something we can connect because we can see some creepy hat here, and this creepy hat looks a lot like those creepy dolls inside of this village, of the new village. It's very, very similar. Now, how is it connected? Randall wasn't in this place, he doesn't know how they look, but still he was able to create those. What is the connection? I don't know, but it has to be. It has to have some kind of a connection. Now, another interesting thing here, we kind of forgot about the drone. Now, when Boyd was holding Ellis and talking to him about, you know, who would you want to pick to enter the faraway tree, let's give it a shot and send the drone inside the faraway tree. What's gonna happen? Maybe it's gonna be the same like with the stone that Victor used in season 1 and he's just gonna drop from the sky. Maybe you're actually gonna be able to see something new. Yeah, I know, like, there is some kind of a problem here. Like, the drone that we're seeing here, it's not powered without any smartphone. You should connect the smartphone to the, you know, to the joystick here, and then you're actually seeing what's happening to the drone, like where is it looking. You don't have any internet here in this place, you don't have any connection, so you're not gonna be able to use it, but they still used it in this place, so, you know, like technicality. So let's do it again. Let's see where it will take the drone, and you can not risk anybody's life, you can just risk the drone. So yeah, the head, as I told you, it's pretty much of a creepy one, and then here at this moment, like when Jade is holding one of the numbers, I mean, who can understand what is that? I can see here there was something that looks like a 0 and a 3, and it's also like very, very doubtful about it, not 100% sure. I don't know if it's one of the numbers from here. The only one that ends in 3 is 1793, but if it's a 0 here really, and it looks like one, so it's not the same number. So those numbers are actually written with numbers, you understand. So here in this moment, like when Jade is talking about them being years, maybe there's some kind of a dates, or even not a year, like, you know, like December 29, my birthday actually, so it's gonna be 12/29, or, you know, 29/12. But when it's 2659, it's probably not a date. What is it? Is it a year from the future? You know, it's gonna be the future, but doubtful. And the reason I'm doubtful is because of the end of this episode, when we're gonna see Dale inside of the concrete pool. The graphics are pretty much not giving me hope that it's gonna be able, that this show is gonna be able to show us some kind of a futuristic environment with this kind of a CGI. And it's obviously not a disrespect to anyone who was working on CGI for this product, but obviously this TV show has a low budget for something like this, so it's probably not gonna be future. So it's probably not really dates, it's not really years, it's something else. Is it the amount of steps? No, hell no. Why would it be? It's somebody else. Everybody else put those numbers. Now what is interesting, when Boyd was the one, the OG who found the first number, it was written 1864, the same number we have in the lighthouse. We had this number in the lighthouse, 1864, but it was written there in the calligraphy with words. It was written 1864, and here we have numbers. What is the difference? Why is that important? I don't know, but it felt like those papers, like this paper that Boyd found, was really ancient one, was from a couple of 100 years ago, and it was written by somebody who used to write like they used to write a couple of 100 years ago. What comes to my mind is maybe every number in this sequence, and it's always 4 digits, right? As far as we can see, it's always 4 digits. Maybe every number have a meaning of some sort, like 2 is for, you know, like whatever, and 6 is for something else, and 5 is something completely else, and 9 is for longitude, duditude, whatever you want to call it. And then if you put the number, this is where the tree takes you. Maybe it's even easier. It's only the combination of 2 numbers. Zone 26, zone 59, we've seen Victor using 2-digit numbers like 10, 12, 47 on his map. Maybe it is connected somehow. Obviously my brain is as usual broken, I have no idea, I have no clue. I've been thinking about it all morning after I finished this episode. I've been googling, I've been asking ChatGPT, no idea, no clue, but you know, like, this is why I love this show. It gives us something, as I told you, it gives us something that basically tells us, no, you were wrong, but we're actually not gonna get you even a little bit closer to the answer. So there's like another conversation. Hopefully, finally, they're gonna be able to talk a lot more about the things. They're talking about the Ankui children and the symbol that was the roots, actually. In my opinion, this is the place you can actually escape normally from this place, like where the roots are meeting. And we've seen there were no trees. When you look up, there was just clear sky and no high trees. So yeah, we're talking about the Ankui children. And another connection I had here is when Jade was talking about this moment, he said like, he felt fear like he never felt in his life. It once again reminded me the conversation between Julie and Ethan in the previous episode when she was talking about being trapped by this cicadas force, and she never felt that fear in her life, not even close. So it's kind of similar. Maybe once again the cicadas and the Ankui children and whatever happens there are connected. I kind of believe that the Ankui children are not good ones. They're not somebody to save. Actually, they want to be saved because they want to escape this place and start terrorizing everybody else. But this is just my theory here. And like another thing that he says, that there was a glimpse, like in this moment for the first time there were threads that you could actually connect. So it kind of feels like, once again, the creators through Jade are telling us, go back to season 2, rewatch this moment, this is the starting point, this is something that's supposed to connect everything you already know. So obviously I'm gonna do it, and if I'm gonna come to some kind of a conclusions, I'm obviously gonna make a video about it. Anyway, we have Dale here, and Dale is like, yeah, I'm gonna go to the faraway tree and I'm gonna save everybody and you're gonna thank me later. And I have to be honest with you, I'm probably not a very good person. Yeah, they're like, I'm not like Sarah. I don't want to feel every time like I'm a good person, because during this moment, the only thing I could think about was this.
Good riddance.
I mean, obviously nobody deserves to die like this, and obviously if Dale was a real person, I would have want that for him no matter how much of a douche you are. But you know, like, he's an annoying character, he was annoying us for a couple of seasons. Every time he was on screen, he was just, you know, being really annoying. That was the whole function of this guy in this place. He was there to cause trouble. At some point he almost killed Alice. So yeah, you know, like sad, blah blah, whatever, but it's also like good riddance, we don't need you anymore. The less people the better, for me, in my opinion. Just give more screen time to Jade and to Victor, so we'll actually get some answers. And Boyd, obviously, he's also there, one of the main driving forces to get us closer to the answers. So we have like the bye-bye moment, and we have like the I told you so moment, and also like, I know it's not very graceful, but I enjoyed it when Boyd is like, I told you so, you wouldn't listen, you fucking wouldn't listen, so start listening to me, because otherwise you're gonna be like old Dale here behind me. You wanna be like that? You wanna take a picture? Julie, bring up your Polaroid. Everybody who was screaming about going to the faraway tree right now goes next to Dale, and we're all gonna take a picture, so we will never fucking forget never to doubt me again. And we have this moment, like we linger a little bit on Donna, and you know, in the context of this TV show, because like Dale was one of the old people here, like, you know, older, like one of the people that were there even before Boyd. Like, you remember this scene when they were hiding in the cellars? There's like Donna, Katri, Dale, and then Boyd and the rest. So yeah, he was annoying, but you know, he was probably very close to Donna, and obviously, you know, even if you don't know, they are married in the real life, the actors, obviously, not the characters, so it was kind of nice. Anyway, what did you think about this episode? Did you like it? Did you feel so frustrated like I did during the town meeting, during the diner meeting? Did I went too far in this moment? I would love to hear your opinion. Now, almost 70% of you still watch without subscribing, and I can respect that, okay? If only thing that you want from this channel is from content, it's okay, you're still gonna get recommendations because you watch this video. You don't have to subscribe. I actually advise you not to subscribe, because I'm not gonna be doing here only from videos. I'm gonna be doing different videos, and I would like that people that subscribe to my channel are the ones that want to see not all of my videos, but most of my videos. They are looking for my input on TV shows like Severance, Silo, Arcane, From obviously, and other TV shows that require somebody who's analyzing like I do, you know, like frame by frame and trying to find everything related or not related here. If yes, then feel free to subscribe. If no, I actually thank you for not subscribing. But you can like and write some interesting comment, and if you want to like support this channel, you can do it also on Patreon or here on YouTube. And I thank you so much for watching this video until the end. I'm gonna see you in the next one. Bye!